Hi, I'm Pete Brock. I'm the author of the book Corvette Stingray, Genesis of American Icon. There are a lot of interesting parts in this book because it's a whole history of how the C2 came about. But in doing the research for the book, I had a chance to read an interesting article by my designer friend, Bob Comerford, who's the automotive design critique editor for Automobile Magazine, telling him what I was doing. And he mentioned that he had worked on Harley Earl's C2. And I'd never known that Harley Earl had done a C2 prototype. So I wrote back and said, "Don't you mean Bill Mitchell's?" He said, "No, there was another car before that that was influenced by management who wanted to make a car that would compete with Ford's Thunderbird." So I had no knowledge of that at all. So I was very, very fortunate in going through the GM archives to get some photographs of this car and the whole history on it from Bob Comerford, who had actually worked on the design with Harley Earl. And if you have a chance to look through the book, this is the car that came out. It's completely different than Bill Mitchell's C2. And fortunately, it wasn't accepted by GM management. But it gives you an idea of the turmoil that was going on between management and design at that time in trying to decide what the new Corvette would look like. So I can't thank GM enough for supplying these photographs and giving us some history. And of course, Comerford's firsthand account on how it came about. But I think you'll really enjoy that. Harley Earl's C2 was an alternate version that never made it to production because obviously Bill Mitchell took over and we did the Stingray Corvette. But management wanted something that would compete with Ford's Thunderbird, which came out in '55, that had all the comforts of a really nice two-place plush passenger car. So this was Earl's version of it. Actually, it was a takeoff on his 1956 Oldsmobile show car called the Golden Rocket. So it had the split windows in it at that time. And you can see here a direct comparison between the Golden Rocket and the C2 version as it finally got up. So it was a very, very seriously considered proposal that was supposed to come out in 1958. About the only thing that really lasted was the front end, this double headlights, and then the big grille came over for 1958 on the Corvette. And from that point on, Earl handed the progress program over to Bill Mitchell, and we went on to build the Stingray. But you can see here the whole development of this car came very, very close to being actually produced, and it would have been the direct competitor to the 55 and 56 Thunderbird. So fascinating story, and you can see here it was being compared with a 300 SL and of course the C1 Corvettes at the time. So it's a sidelight that most people know nothing about, and I certainly knew nothing about when we did this for GM, and it ended up as a great, great, interesting part of the book. I think you'll enjoy it. The Corvette Stingray was an incredible adventure in American automotive design. As the last remaining member of the team that created this car, I've written a book called Corvette Stingray, Genesis of an American Icon. In this book, I've got all my original sketches that Bill Mitchell used as the inspiration to create this car, plus about 160 original archival photos from GM styling that also will help illustrate how the car came to be and who the personalities were that helped create it. That was Bill Mitchell and Zora Duntov primarily. It's a great, great story. I think you'll really enjoy it. Thank you.